Archangel Michael says time is slipping like smoke through trembling hands. 2 hours is all that separates your world from the truth buried beneath generations of silence. The letter is already moving toward you, sealed in secrecy, soaked in spirit, and written by someone long thought gone. A door creaks open in a forgotten hallway, one you never knew existed in your soul. Behind it, shadows flicker with memories you never lived but still feel. They've been watching, waiting for this moment when the bloodline curse finally cracks open. Your name is etched into the ink of this letter with trembling reverence. The paper is old, yellowed, edges singed like it passed through fire before reaching you. What it carries is not only inheritance, it is confession, confrontation, and a call to destiny. You thought your story was written in peace, but a lie has fed your legacy. A relative cloaked in false kindness forged documents and twisted trust. Now, heaven itself is preparing to correct what the earth has tried to bury. The letter contains a truth too heavy for ordinary messengers. It was delivered into the hands of one chosen beyond this realm. That's why Archangel Michael moved, because your soul is standing at the edge of a divine unraveling. Dust rises as an old box beneath your floorboards begins to hum. Inside it, keys, literal and spiritual, begin to glow faint blue. They unlock more than vaults. They unseal ancient judgments cast in silence. Heaven kept the will safe while others tried to steal your future. You were never meant to be excluded, never meant to be forgotten. But someone close to you wore the mask of family and the fangs of betrayal. A sound like weeping echoes from the corners of your childhood memories. Someone weeps not in sorrow, but in fear, because truth is now on your heels. This letter will name them, and their games will collapse like a house of ash. Archangel Michael says the time of deception is ending with a final breath. The clock chimes not just for your awareness but for divine judgment. What was stolen in secret will be restored in light, and you will rise from the ruins. A safe deposit key long forgotten is taped beneath the envelope. The scent of old lavender and ink from another century rises as you touch it. The paper crackles like thunder, and your heartbeat echoes through the silence. There are whispers in the wind tonight, voices of those who tried to warn you. Their bones rest, but their spirits stir as justice finds its breath again. You were the chosen heir, not by men, but by divine decree. You'll read names in this letter that should have died with their sins. But they clung to power, silencing those who opposed them with fear and forged kindness. One of them walks still, but now their time is closing, the veil collapsing. You'll learn of assets kept offshore, of deeds hidden in churches and false charities. They never thought you'd see them, never imagined the seal would break. But heaven has intervened, and your inheritance now bears the mark of fire and favor. A signature at the bottom will shock your spirit to its core. Someone you buried, emotionally or physically, never stopped watching over you. They found a way to leave one last truth behind, wrapped in eternity and protected by flame. The betrayal will slice like glass, but the blessing will pour like golden oil. You will cry, not from loss, but from the weight of being seen after all this time. No one will ever again make you feel forgotten, for heaven has thundered your name. A strange red wax seal binds the envelope, pressed with a forgotten family crest. As you crack it open, the air grows colder, time slows, and spirit floods the room. The past is not coming back, it is being rewritten through your obedience and courage. A painting hidden in your attic bears symbols that match the letter. What you thought was art is actually a map, one leading to a vault buried in the earth. Inside, the ledger, the land, the documents that prove your birthright. Some will beg you to tear it up and walk away. Their fear will come wrapped in guilt, in twisted phrases that once disarmed you. But you must stand, because you are no longer a pawn in someone else's silence. Archangel Michael says the sword has fallen. And now it is you who holds the truth, and they who must face it. Your silence once protected them, now your voice will liberate the legacy. You will tremble as you read the words, because they hold more than meaning, they hold blood. Bloodlines intertwine, tangled with spiritual contracts both holy and wicked. The ink itself was blessed in ceremony, washed in tears, and placed into your hands by divine appointment. A name scratched out and rewritten 3 times will reveal the one who tried to erase you. But even their signature fades in comparison to the divine fingerprints on this moment. What was denied in courtrooms will now be affirmed in heaven's council. Your inheritance is not just gold, land, or law. It is authority, it is truth, it is a calling passed through fire and purified. You are not just the recipient, you are the restoration. A knocking in your dreams was never just dreams, it was warning. That letter has passed through many hands, priests, prophets, and angels alike. Its arrival is not late, it is perfectly timed for the collapse of the lies. The final page will shake you, it is signed by someone whose name hasn't been spoken aloud in decades. They died under suspicion, cast out for telling the truth you now hold. But with this letter, they rise again, in spirit, in power, in witness. A bank clerk will look at you and hesitate when you bring the key. They will feel something strange, something holy resting around you. Because the vault isn't just metal and security, it is spiritual, and you are the only one who can open it. Inside is a second letter, one meant for your eyes alone. In it, you will learn the full truth of who you are and why they tried so hard to erase you. And you will understand, not with fear, but with fire. The wind outside will shift as you finish reading. It will feel as though the air itself is exhaling after holding its breath for years. That's because justice has just been born. Archangel Michael says this is no ordinary blessing, this is a reckoning. The chains placed on your family are breaking under the sound of this truth. What was bound will be loosed, and what was hidden will shine with divine fire. The name on the return address was disguised, but Spirit recognizes its origin. It was sent from a monastery long abandoned, but angels still walk its grounds. They sealed it in time, waiting for the one bold enough to open what others feared. The shadows of betrayal have no more power over you. The haunting silence that clouded your family is being shattered by heavenly roar. You are not just a survivor, you are the breaker of the curse. As you rise tomorrow, the world will look the same, but everything will be different. Heaven has shifted in your favor, and the enemy's grip is broken. What was meant for your ruin is now the foundation of your reign. The blessings that follow will not be soft or quiet, they will roar. Doors will fling open where none existed before, because the bloodline has been healed. And you will walk in lands promised to you, not by man, but by divine decree. This is your moment. The last 2 hours tick like thunder down your spine. Open the letter, the truth is calling you by name, and it will not wait. And in that final word, written in holy ink, comes the divine revelation: you were never the forgotten child, you were the hidden key. Now unlocked, the heavens pour their fiercest blessing upon you, and no one can stop it. Archangel Michael says the winds have shifted, and a divine clock now ticks with urgency. 2 hours remain before a letter crosses the final threshold into your hands. This letter carries the weight of generations, and with it, your destiny begins to unfold. You may feel it already, a strange tension humming in the air around you. It's the sound of secrets unraveling, of buried truths clawing their way to the surface. This is not a message for the mind alone, it's a message meant to pierce the soul. A shadow has followed your family name, dressed in the clothing of loyalty. Behind smiles, papers were signed in betrayal, and hands that once held you were never clean. But what was hidden in safes and silence is no longer protected. A letter written with trembling hands and sealed by divine authority is en route. It was kept away from you by force, theft, and fear. But heaven refused to let the lies have the final word. You are not late to receive this, the timing is deliberate and fiery. The path was cleared by spirits who paid in suffering to protect this truth. Their voices are rising now, surrounding you like wind before a storm. The letter's edges are singed, as though it passed through fire. Its ink is smudged in places, as if someone wept while writing it. There is energy on the paper, something too powerful for ordinary hands to carry. Archangel Michael says this letter was delivered by divine command. It bypassed gates of deception and thrones of injustice. Now it arrives, not as a gift, but as a sword. There is someone you trusted who knew about this. They smiled while withholding the very thing that would free you. They feared your strength, so they buried your rights beneath forged signatures and whispered threats. The letter is not just news, it is thunder. It reveals assets long hidden, properties lost under manipulated documents. But it also carries names, names of the betrayers, the thieves, the ones who swore silence. A strange knocking sound may echo in your ears as it draws near. It's the sound of spiritual locks breaking open, vaults of injustice giving way. The very air changes when a lie is about to die. In the attic of your bloodline, there was a will no one wanted you to see. It was amended under pressure, falsified with fear, and then buried in a vault no one thought you'd open. But the letter you are about to receive holds the key. The name at the bottom will make your heart stutter. Someone long dead, cast out as mad or mistaken, signed this letter in final defiance. They knew the truth would one day reach you, and now, it has. Ashes fall from a broken photo frame on your shelf. It wasn't an accident, it was the beginning of the unraveling. That moment marked the shift from ignorance to revelation. The ground beneath you may feel unstable, it's not your imagination. The spiritual foundation of everything you've believed is being shaken. Because the truth has been dammed up for too long, and now the flood is coming. You were told you weren't the rightful heir. You were convinced that others had more claim, more right, more favor. But the letter says otherwise, and it carries proof no one can deny. Inside the envelope, you'll find more than words. There is a key, small, rusted, and heavy with history. It opens a lockbox held in a vault registered under a name you never knew was yours. One of your ancestors, defamed and forgotten, left behind this inheritance with a prayer. That one day, the lies would collapse, and you would stand where they fell. That day is today, and the collapse has begun. You will feel a presence when you touch the letter. A soft chill will climb your spine, as if unseen eyes are watching. That's because they are, but not with malice, with divine anticipation. The spirits of your bloodline who suffered injustice are rising in support. Their voices will echo in your dreams, calling you toward restoration. What was once buried beneath fear is now rising in fire. The betrayal runs deep, deeper than you imagined. A family member you trusted turned away from light for the promise of wealth. But the same wealth now turns on them, commanded by divine law to return to you. When you read the first line of the letter, your breath will catch. The words speak directly to the wound no one else saw. They will name your pain, and then pull you into promise. Archangel Michael says this is not a time for fear, but for fire. The inheritance is not just land, but legacy. Not just money, but mandate. You were born to carry this truth, even though others tried to make you forget. They altered stories, burned records, paid off silence. But truth, unlike lies, resurrects with vengeance. There will be resistance once this letter is opened. They will scramble, panic, deny. But their time is over, and their grip has shattered. The letter names the hidden assets, homes, stocks, accounts, treasures cataloged in secret. But it also names a location, buried beneath a church now condemned. That place holds an item you must retrieve, for it holds the final piece of proof. Expect the phone to ring after you read it. Someone will try to distract you, manipulate you, convince you it's not real. But your spirit will know, it has waited too long to be silenced again. A vault beneath your family's estate holds journals, photos, and one final confession. The key inside the letter will unlock more than steel. It will unlock the destiny they swore you'd never find. The final page is signed in red ink, not blood, but sacred oil. The signature matches a name struck from your family tree. They were cast out not for lies, but for truth too dangerous to keep alive. You are the only one who can carry this mantle now. And as you do, divine fire will encircle your path. Those who rise against it will fall, not by violence, but by truth too powerful to resist. The ones who tried to keep you small will shrink in the face of this revelation. They will see what heaven sees, that you are not a remnant, but a resurrection. You are not the forgotten branch, you are the root restored. Do not fear the change about to come. Do not mourn the relationships that tremble and collapse. They were built on silence, and truth is no longer silent. You are the answer to a prayer prayed over decades of pain. You are the echo of a cry that never stopped reaching heaven's ears. Now, heaven responds, with justice. Archangel Michael says your hands are being anointed with authority. The inheritance is being transferred not just by law, but by divine decree. And with it, a mantle to break cycles of lack, loss, and betrayal. The name of the sender will make you weep, not from sadness, but awe. Because they were thought gone, lost to tragedy and falsehood. But through divine intervention, their message reached you in perfect time. This is not just a restoration, it is a coronation. A legacy that burned has now been reforged in spirit. And you are crowned not in gold, but in holy fire. The winds have stilled now. The final moment approaches as the letter reaches your doorstep. Do not delay, what waits inside is the truth that frees everything. When you open it, everything you thought was broken will begin to align. What was withheld will overflow. And your name, long buried, will thunder through eternity as the rightful heir, restored by heaven's own hand.